Hello, friends. Cass here. I told you last week that I was going to come up with a new challenge for myself in the few weeks before I move. And I made a challenge happen. I hurt myself. I've had kind of I have a cyst in my knee, and that means I have to be really careful because there's not enough room in my knee for everything to happen properly. So it's very easy for my knee to move out of alignment. And I was doing squats at Pilates and did hyperextended, underextended. I don't know what I did. I did something when I was doing squats, moved my knee into the wrong place, and now it hurts a lot. And I saw my physio a couple days ago, and he said, "Don't do that," which is always the answer. Um, so I'm working on building up my let me think of the name, vastus medialis oblique muscle, which is the muscle part of your quadricep that's on the inside of your knee or just above the inside of your knee. And it keeps your kneecap, your patella, in place. And that's what's happening. My patella is kind of moving out of place and it's making everything hurt. So no walking for me. I've taken the week off from Pilates, and it sucks because just getting to a point where I was going to do the next thing, and the next thing is don't do that. So I'm building up this muscle and letting the swelling go down and taking some time off. So I hate that, I'm ready to go do the next thing, next level, but so that happens. So that my next challenge is doing a bunch of exercises, very small, non-weight bearing exercises for the vastus medius thingy, and waiting for the swelling to go down in my knees so that I can do things again. I'm allowed to walk, but I'm only supposed to walk short distances, and I don't do that. I walk too much. I just start walking, and then suddenly it hurts, and then I'm too far away from home to get back easily. So I'm not doing that. But in a couple weeks I have to start packing to move, so it's fine for now. I'm going to be carrying boxes and going up and down stairs multiple times and lifting things and all that kind of stuff. So it's all right for the next 2 weeks to be real easy. I'm doing Pilates next week. I just can't do any squats. So, and I'm doing private lessons, so my instructor can do something very specific for me. So when I say, "Oh, I can't do that right now," she just makes me do something else instead. So it's fine. And there's a lot of leg work I can do that doesn't. It's just the weight bearing part of it that I think is really hurting it at this point. So I have 2 weeks where I have to go gentle on myself, which is not easy. And I'm trying not to be too depressed about getting pushed back, because I wasn't really gonna do anything until after I move anyway. So it's all right. I can have a couple weeks off to heal and heal up good, and then don't do that anymore. I really want this cyst to go down on my knee though, because it's making the whole thing work funny, and because I didn't do anything different with my left knee than I did with my right knee. I was doing a squat, both knees were moving together, but it's because my left knee has this cyst in it that things didn't move. There's no space for things to move properly, so they move improperly sometimes, and I hate it, and I want it to go away. And I also hate my shoulder and want it to go away. So I just want, like, magically the first of the year to be like, okay, and now everything that was screwed up last year is done, and you can start something new. But I don't know if that's going to happen. When we move into the new house, I'm going to start going to the yoga studio that's nearby there every day. And there's a beginner's yoga first thing in the morning, so I'm just going to go. And it's beginners, so it should be very, very easy. And I'm well aware of the fact that, if even beginner's yoga is too much for me, I'll just lay there and child the entire time and I've done that before when I started yoga, spend half the yoga session in child, and then the next day you spend a quarter of the yoga session in child, and then the next day you spend even less, and eventually you can do the whole thing, and eventually the whole thing isn't enough and you move on to a non-beginner's class. But that's going to happen as soon as we move, assuming that the studio is open. Right now it's closed because of Corona, but it's going to be open next week because our numbers are going down, so that should be fine. And if it's not, they have yoga classes online that I'm specifically not doing now because my shoulder isn't quite good enough yet. But in a month, I expect it'll be good enough for me to do downward facing dog. So it's almost there. It's almost there. And in another month, I think it'll be there. So if the yoga studio isn't open, I'll do the online course instead, and that'll be fine. But yeah, so I feel like, not that I've been pushed back on progress, but I'm motivated to be careful and to take care of my leg and to do exercises to build up my muscles. I also had a flare yesterday, which was no fun, and reminded me I really have to stay away from the grains. They make my inflammation so much worse, and I'm full of inflammation right now. I mean, today isn't as bad as yesterday, but I'm just puffy as shit, and I just feel awful. So today I went back to eating non-inflammatory foods. I haven't had any grains all day, and I'm going to continue that and see if because my legs are very, very heavy, and having very, very heavy legs doesn't work when you've got something wrong with your knees. So yeah, if I could drop some pounds, it wouldn't hurt anything, and that would be good. I'm also, one of the reasons we were doing squats is because my Pilates instructor is trying to help me get to a point where I could ground mount a horse by next year. I want to start taking riding lessons again in the spring, and I want to be able to ground mount. I don't want to have to crawl up on a box to get on the horse. And at the moment, crawling up on the box is difficult. So that's what we were doing that for. And frankly, ground mounting at 20 or 30 pounds less is easier than ground mounting when you're this big. So I'm trying to, that's my goal. I'm moving towards a functional goal, but there's a numbers goal in there. I don't care for numbers goals. I think they're disappointing, but this numbers goal has a practical end. So that's the next thing. I guess I'll keep doing these once a week, even though I don't expect much more progress, except to say, hey, my knee is feeling better. My shoulder's feeling better. But, you'll stick with me to listen to it. See you next week. Bye.